Oh, hello, hello, hello. He's got a whole record.
Oh, looks at Hollywood.
He's coming in a short while to interview Patti.
Five, four, three.
Here I am at the Tower Records on Sunset, one of the greatest. Matter of fact, Madonna's, they're selling her records out there, and they got a big line. They don't know which line they're for, but I guess it's Patti Page, baby. The singing rage, Miss Patti Page, the one and only. How are you?
I'm fine, Skippy. And you?
Patti Page, wonderful.
Yes.
Where have you been?
My goodness,
You've
I've been
been-
around everywhere.
I know, but you've been working constant. You've been on the road.
All these
Doing-
50 years, yes, I have.
Have you been in show business 50 years,
Yes.
really? Originally from where?
From Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Tulsa, Oklahoma.
You and Kay Starr. I
Yes,
think
she's
Kay's-
from Oklahoma.
She is. You
Yeah.
knew Kay when you were
No, I
growing
didn't,
up?
no. But
Who
we have a
dis-
lot of people from Oklahoma now.
You're-
Garth Brooks and Clint.
Good talent, good singers. Patti Page, when you first started, who discovered Patti Page? Really discovered her?
Well, I was working on a radio station, and a gentleman came through who was a saxophone player with a territory band. His name was, and is Jack Rail. And
He was my manager too, with
was
the
he?
Everly Brothers.
Yes, uh-huh.
Phil and Don. I used to
Yes.
work with them. Go ahead.
And Jack heard my radio show, called the station, and talked to the receptionist, and then later called after the show and spoke to me. And I was working at a little club, and he came to that club that night to see me because that's where the only place he could.
Right.
And I had my two sisters and one husband come down and sit in the corner because I didn't know who this gentleman was. And he said after that he took one look at me, and I was like 5 feet tall and 5 feet wide, he
Right.
said. And it was just that I was pleasingly plump. That was what it was. And he said, well, I really don't want her to front a band, because that's what he was looking for this band that he was with. And he was just the road manager for that band.
He was a manager at the time, just a road manager.
Road manager, right.
Ah, so he never really handled singers at that
No,
time. Like,
no.
you know. Okay.
He was the road manager for Jimmy Joy's band, which was just a territory band, but a good one at that.
Patty, I'm going to ask you, 50% of your salary went to this man, Jack Rail. Listen, tell me, how did that all happen? How did Jack Rail sign you 50% of your earnings at the beginning of your life?
Well,
I mean,
actually, it was, I was the one that offered it to him. I thought that that's what you do.
really?
Yeah.
Well, you were a good gal, my darling.
Well, we had a good relationship for many years. And we aren't together now, but those are circumstances.
He handled the Everly Brothers for a long time.
Yes.
Jack has made a lot of stars. He has
Has he?
developed. Yes,
Oh.
he has.
Oh.
Don't you think he has?
Oh, I didn't know that. Because the Everly Brothers were pretty big when
Well,
he was
he
with them.
handled them. He managed them.
Yes,
I
he
mean,
did.
He
that
really,
was still we were together then too. so. Yes.
Patty, the Tennessee Waltz.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, that's the song. Where did that all? Who wrote that, and where did it begin?
Well, it was written by two great country writers, Pee Wee King
right.
and Red Stewart, and it came from just our hearing about it through Jerry Wexler, who was at that time just a reviewer on Billboard magazine.
Right.
And he met Jack coming into the Brill building where we had an office.
New York.
And said, Jack, we reviewed a song last night in the rhythm and blues field by Erskine Hawkins. And we feel that if Patti got a hold of it, it could be a smash. It's a country song, and it's just the way it is, and if a pop star got a hold of it, it would be something. And so we heard it and put it on the next record date that we had. And we had no arrangement for it.
Where was that town that played Tennessee Waltz? The beginning. I mean, was it like Pittsburgh or
Philadelphia.
Cleveland? Yeah, something like that.
Philadelphia.
And boy, I bet the phones were ringing, weren't they?
Well, I understand they were. I was appearing at the Copacabana in New York. And I had 5 songs to do, and that was it. I would just do my 5 songs and walk off because nobody would listen to me, really. They were waiting for Joey Lewis to come out. He was the star.
Lewis, the great comedian.
Yes.
Who drank a lot. Great
And
comedian.
I was the opening act before Joey. And so one night I heard someone say, "Sing the waltz." And I had no idea what they were talking about. So we went upstairs, and they had the dressing room at the Hotel 15 or whatever that place was next to the Copa. That's where the
yes,
dressing
that was-
rooms were.
Yeah.
And we said, well, let's call the distributor in Philadelphia, Harry Rosen, and we did. And he said, I don't believe that you don't know what's happening to this song. And we said, no. And he said, well, we've ordered it 3 times. And it's just unbelievable. Nobody is playing Boogie Woogie Santa Claus, which was the record that Mercury was hoping for.
Right.
And
That's the label you were on, Mercury?
That's right.
You've been on that label for how long?
No, well, I was with them
at that time.
and until 1961 or 62, and then I went with Columbia.
Columbia.
Then I went back to Mercury.
Uh-huh.
Then I went to the country edition of Columbia with Epic.
Uh-huh.
And then back to Mercury. And
Is Patti Page real country, would you say?
I would say more than anything else,
Really?
yes. Mhm.
That's your touch of your heart.
Well, that's what I grew up singing.
Doggy in the Window. Come on, that's another great song. Everyone loves Doggy in the Window. Tell me, how did that come about?
Well, I have a different story than everybody else because I remember doing it for a children's album.
Oh.
And they took it from the album and put it out as a single.
Uh-huh.
And then every mother in the world hated me for that song at the time. But
Patti, I'm looking at you right now. You seem very happy. You're married. How long?
be 8 years this
8 years?
May. Mhm.
Any kids you have?
Well, we have 5 between us.
Uh-huh.
I have 2, a boy and a girl, and he has 2 girls and a boy.
Anyone in the business
And
at all?
no,
They're
no.
all none. And you live in Palm Springs?
No,
No?
we live in San Diego County.
San Diego County.
Yes.
Oh, so you're enjoying your life right now. And
Oh,
you've been
yes.
working on the road.
Uh-huh.
And you still...
We have a farm in New Hampshire that we live at,
Uh-huh.
and we have maple syrup. We produce maple syrup, so we have a thriving business.
About a book. Have you written a book yet?
Oh, I wrote one in the 60s called Once Upon a Dream,
Ah.
but it was left by the wayside.
Patti Page, here at the Tower Records, your records are being... You have a fans out there waiting for you to sign.
I hope so.
And they're anxious to know Patti Page and who is Patti Page.
Okay.
These young people just love your records.
They do?
Yes, they do.
great.
You're like
Well-
you're shocked.
Well, in a way, I am, yes.
How does it feel to, all the years in the business? You say 50 years.
Yes.
That's a long time. 50
Yes, it
years
is.
in show business. How about Chicago, Illinois? I remember walking down the street in Wabash, and there you are, Patti, the singing rage Miss Patti Page at the Chicago Theater.
Right.
And I was with Joni James at that time, and Joni and I walked out of that theater, and she says, my name is going to be up there next time.
And it was.
And it was.
That's right.
Because you encouraged Joni James to go out there and really work at it.
Well, she was
Then
a good singer.
Yeah, and she decked out Why Don't You Believe Me, didn't
Yes.
That was it. Miss Patti Page, spiritual?
Yes,
Yes?
very much so.
What has been the hardest for Patti Page?
Well, I don't. Right now, I can't think of what could have been the hardest.
Well,
'Cause I've
give me
enjoyed-
3 words to describe Patti Page.
Holding my head up high.
Well, that's nice. That's nice. Very good. You seem very happy. I'm going to let
Yes.
you go right now because you got some people out there that are waiting for you. You're big fans.
Good.
And thank you, Miss Patti Page.
Thank
You're
you.
wonderful, Doris.
Nice to see you
Thank
again.
dear.
Thank you.
Hi, here I am at the Tower Records with Joe Doyle. How are you,
Right, how are
Joe?
you? Fine.
Good God, Patti Page. We love Joni James. We love Patti Page. The singing rage, Miss Patti Page. How long you've been a big fan?
Well, since the late 50s.
Late 50s.
Right.
Uh-huh. Where's Joe Doyle from? Where are you from?
Ohio.
Ohio? And when you discovered Patti Page, how old were you at that time?
Well, when where's that doggy in the window?
Doggy in the window.
Right. That from then on, I was kind of hooked.
The Tennessee Waltz?
Yes.
All that? Yeah. It's nice seeing you, Joe.
Yeah, same
Good.
here.
We have a lot of fans here waiting for Patti Page.
Yes.
Wait here to get some autographs. Huh? What do you have there? Oh, these are wonderful. I remember this magazine, the TV Radio Mirror. How beautiful she's on the cover. This is beautiful. This is her album from say wonderful things. Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you, Joe.
Okay, thank you.
Who am I talking to here? Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are
You're
you?
here, Patti Page?
Sure.
Are you a big fan of hers?
Yes.
When did you discover Miss Patti Page?
It was probably about 5.
You were 5 years old. Yes?
Sure.
I see. You're here to get some things
Yes.
signed and all that?
Yes.
Are you all Patti Pages?
Yes.
Here?
Yes, we are.
Where are you from?
From the Philippines.
Philippines, Manila.
Manila.
The greatest singers in the world are from Manila. Palita Careles.
Oh, yes.
Palita.
Kalita. Yeah.
And you love Joni James too.
Oh, yes, we do.
So if you love Patti Page, you love Joni James.
Yes.
Wonderful.
We do.
Very nice. Nice seeing you.
Thank you very much.
Good in line. Thank you. Okay, stop. Who am I talking to?
Loyana.
Liana, you're a big fan of Patti Page?
I'm a medium-sized fan. I'm a new
A
fan.
new fan. This is a new fan of Miss Patti Page. How did you discover her? Isn't that great?
Well, I work in a record store. Guess
in a
which
record
one?
store?
So,
Yes,
you know,
you
I'm exposed to lots of different
All
kinds
the
of
young
music.
kids are getting there to be big fans of her. Are there a lot of
course.
new fans out there?
I don't know. I don't really ask anybody. I just know what I like. I like all kinds of different
You
stuff.
like all different. Well, you've got good taste, darling.
Thank you.
She's a wonderful lady. and
She has a beautiful voice, like a bird.
Nice seeing you. Thank you. Who am I here? Talking to the store manager at the
Tower Sunset
Tower
store.
Sunset.
Todd
Boy,
Meehan. Nice to see you again,
nice
Skip.
Seeing you here at Patti Page this evening. We have.
Yeah.
And guess what?
What?
Tonight at 12 o'clock, it is Madonna.
Yep.
It is Madonna's turn tonight.
Getting a lot of calls for Madonna.
Yeah,
but
that's going to be a big line out
Madonna's pretty big, but I don't think she's as big as Patti Page.
No,
Patti
no.
Page was the Barbra Streisand of the 1950s. She
certainly-
made Mercury what they are today.
there. She did make
So
Mercury.
she definitely established the path for the Madonnas and for the female,
Right.
female.
If it wasn't for Patti Page's, there would not be Madonna.
I believe it. I believe it. And looking at some of her old pictures, she looks better than Madonna. I'll
Yes.
tell you that. She was beautiful and still is. But
She's still gorgeous.
yeah, but to see some of those old photos, it really brings back the old days of Hollywood. And I'm
Well,
glad
we ha-
you keep
I'm
keeping
so
up the
happy
old
we
Hollywood,
have-
because
I'm
that's why I like doing these in-stores. It's about the legends and the people that made Hollywood, doing the Laverne Bakers, doing the Yma Sumacs, doing the Bob Hopes. That's what it's about. If 800 people don't show, that's not what it's
That's
about to
enough.
me. It's about having them here and showing them that we support them, and having people like you out here showing your support. It's
I'm
great.
so happy you're here at this store in Hollywood. Where are you from originally?
From Detroit.
See,
Detroit, and
Detroit,
I've been
Michigan.
here 16 years now.
I
It's
worked
been
in
my
Gay
only job.
Haven in Detroit.
Oh, did you?
In the Elmwood Casino in Windsor, and I guarantee Patti Page has worked the gay Windsor, the El Morocco, or somewhere like
I'm
that.
sure.
Yeah.
She's probably worked a lot of rooms.
Love
over the
Detroit.
years.
Detroit's a great town for
There's
singers.
so many people you find from Detroit out here. That's such a small little city, but everyone wants to move away. So, but a good city to go back and visit. The good old Motown back there.
So happy there are men like you.
Well, Skip,
and
nice
me
talking
keep
to you.
this alive.
Yep.
Thank
Thanks.
You. Thank you.
Nice to see you all. Nice to see you, and welcome. Welcome. A very special night tonight because one of my favorite singing stars of all time, and you can hear it on KGIL, every record she's ever done, KGIL and the music of your life, in which we're heard internationally around the world every day. We play a lot of Patti Page records, and rightly so. Every one of us have a different favorite, don't we? Remember when Hal March used to sit in the window here at Tower Records and dress in a dog suit? It would be Hal March is the doggy in the window. We all remember that, the great TV star. And change partners, Old Cape Cod. I'll tell you, I could just name titles for the next 24 hours and I would not finish. She has so many hits, and she's such a pretty lady, such a beautiful lady, such a darling person. And that's why we're here tonight, to pay homage to this wonderful Patti Page and her great new CD set. It is spectacular. And it is my pleasure right now to introduce the legendary, the darling, the wonderful Miss Patti Page. Here she is. This is a good trick, isn't it? This is a good trick. And here she is.
Thank you.
And she's going to sign CDs right now, right here.
Anybody that wants mine.
There we are.
Hey, shall I sit or what?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
There we are. Straight ahead, please. Don't take a couple. There's one more, please. And one more for safety.
Possible?
Hello there.
A few minutes over here with me? Sure. Here I am with one of the greats, Hollywood's voices, and I mean voices. And that background is, first of all, is Gary Owens. Hello, Gary.
Well, hi, Skip. How are you?
Oh,
Nice to see you.
Voice. I
Yeah,
love it.
thank you.
It's been all over the world. Gary, that song listening behind us is the one and only, the singing rage.
Miss Patti Page, and
Yes.
she was originally Miss Clara Ann Fowler in Oklahoma, in little town in Oklahoma, and she was singing for the Page Milk Company. And it's a good thing it wasn't for the Grimfackle Nerdleheimer Company or something like that. So they changed her name to Miss Patti Page, and she's had that ever since.
Where is Gary Owens from?
Gary Owens is from the Midwest. Actually, Tom Brokaw and I grew up about in the same area. Cheryl Ladd, quite a few of us out here.
What area?
Well, it's in South Dakota. It's called Mitchell, South Dakota.
Oh, yes. Because I'm from Rockford, Illinois.
Oh,
originally.
yes.
I'm a Midwestern
Oh,
kid,
yeah.
too. It's a great area to come from, isn't
It really is. You know, they're very nice people back there. Just gorgeous people.
roots.
Yeah, very much so.
Gary, how did you get into the business?
Well, I started as a newscaster, and I was a newscaster for a number of years while going to school. I started when I was 15 and a half years old. I had the same voice when I was a teenager, and it was so wonderful because you would always add years to your say, well, just a minute, we're not going to hire somebody who's 15 or 16 years old. So you just say, well, of course not. I'm 20, or whatever you'd throw out at them at the time just to get the job. So in getting into the business, I did network broadcasts because most of the people, we had a place, and you'll find this interesting, Skip, called the Corn Palace, the world's only Corn Palace, and every big band in the world and every comedian would do it. Andy Williams would do it. They would go in there for a week, and they'd be paid hundreds of thousands of dollars because 7,000 people per performance would be there. And so by the time I was 17 years old, I had already worked with Stan Kenton, with Freddie Martin and his orchestra, when Merv Griffin was singing for Freddie Martin, Duke Ellington. You know, one of my biggest boo-boos was at that time, I was worried because I had a piece of paper, and it was written by my buddy in school who wanted to be a copywriter in television and radio. And instead of saying, ladies and gentlemen, the Duke is on the air for Duke Ellington, he had written the word duck, D-U-C-K, and I presume, well, that must be right, because, ladies and gentlemen, the duck is on the air. And it was, Ellington looks at me, well, what's the matter with you? And so those magic moments keep coming back, and I don't know, I guess I've done maybe over 1,000 network television telecasts since I've been in Hollywood.
When did you first come to Hollywood?
First came to Hollywood in the 60s, and McHale's Navy. I played a war correspondent on McHale's Navy. Oh, it was a wonderful show. And I worked with Tim Conway and Ernest Borgnine and you know, the whole gang there. They were just all wonderful. Joe Flynn, yeah.
Have you enjoyed yourself?
I enjoy myself every day, Skip. I have about 7 different jobs. I've always had about 7 different things. I do commercials every day. I do animated voiceovers, animated cartoons every day, TV series. I've had 7 different TV series. Everybody remembers Laugh-In, of course, and George Schlatter was so nice to me.
I understand they're having a thing for him or something.
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah, well, Laugh-In, we're going to have another Laugh-In show, from what I understand, another special, and then another series in which those of us who were regulars, I was so lucky. Ruth Buzzy and I were very lucky. Oh.
And Goldie Hawn.
Goldie, well, all of us. Yeah, Goldie.
Right from the beginning.
No, Goldie came just a little bit later, and Lily Tomlin came about a year later on that. Eileen Brennan was there originally. And
A lot of people came from that Laugh-In.
well, Goldie, you know, came over from Good Morning World, which was a series that I think ran about 13 weeks. Then Goldie came right from there to Laugh-In, but she was there almost from the start, as you know. And Joanne Worley and Artie Johnson and Henry Gibson and Ruth Buzzy, of course, and we just had a great time.
You've worked with the best comedians. I mean, you're naming comedians, names of these comics right down the line.
Well, they're very funny people. Well, you know, basically, I started as a stand-up comic. I started in San Francisco. When I came to California, I did Fax the Second, some of the clubs where you probably performed too, you know. And so I was a stand-up comic, and I was a comedy writer when I first came to town.
Yes, I know that.
When I wrote for J. Ward Productions, the people who created Bullwinkle and Fractured Flickers, that's how I met Alan Burns, and who with Jim Brooks created Mary Tyler Moore and all those shows.
It's a great show.
And they just received the Writers Award, you know, both of the guys. But Alan Burns was the one who hired me when I first came to Hollywood. And I wrote
first arrived,
when I first arrived. Yeah, now I've always done radio. I still do radio every day, nationally and locally.
That voice has always been there since 17?
Always since 16, 15, I guess. It never really has changed. It just was one of those voices when I had puberty. I went from "Hi, everybody," sounding like Arnold Stang to whatever it is today. I'm not sure what it is.
What's some of your favorite characters?
Well, the cartoon characters, Space Ghost, I've played for 20-some years, which is now on the Cartoon Network for Ted Turner, but it was on CBS and NBC for years. The announcer on Garfield the Cat, I play Powdered Toast Man and Ren and Stimpy, Blue Falcon and Dynamite with Frank Welker. I did hundreds of Disney cartoons with Goofy, Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, Hanna-Barbera, Perils of Penelope
Did you ever
Pitstop.
meet Walt Disney?
Yes, I did. As a matter of fact, the first session I had at Disney Studios was with Walt Disney. Now, Walt was not really directing it, but he stood by me there, and he said, "Gary, I think you should read a little faster." I said, "Oh, right, Mr. Disney," whatever. I was so thrilled.
What kind of guy was he?
He was a very nice man. He was very avuncular, uncle-like. In other words, you liked him because he was not ogre-like in any way, shape, or form. He was just a very nice man, just a super nice man. And I liked him very much, and I was so honored that he would take time out to chat with me. I spoke on probably maybe 6 occasions, and he was just a superhuman being. And I've worked with so many people who I've been so lucky, over the years.
I love that word you're using, I've been lucky. There's a lot of people who don't use that word, and you really...
Well, I'm very thankful for everything, I'm very thankful, and I've luck is a big... Of course, I guess the old aphorism or half-aphorism that luck comes to those who are prepared. So when that break is ready for you, maybe you can handle it a little bit better. But I started as a newspaper writer. I wrote for Associated Press, and I also was a cartoonist. So that was my first love, was being a cartoonist. I sold to some of the old magazines,
What has been the hardest for Carey Owens?
Well, I don't know that any of it has been hard because I consider everything a challenge, but not really. I have a good time. Skip, to be paid to do things that we used to do in school for nothing is the greatest honor in the world. Where we'd always say, well, it's time for Captain Fendishman of the Royal Peruvian Marines. We find Captain Fendishman and his little 11-year-old helper, Billy, falling 11,000 feet from space. Brace yourself, Billy. Okay, Colonel, I will. Whatever it might be. Well, they play rough, don't they? Who's that? The Green Bay Packers. You're right. And it's to be like, duck, Jimmy. Okay. Wah, wah. Not that kind of a duck, you fool. So what happened in Airplane basically has happened to me all my life. You
have it or you don't have it.
Well, it's like bad word plays, puns and word plays. Steve Allen is a longtime friend of mine. I was influenced by Steve. I was influenced by Robert Benchley. I was influenced by Bob and Ray. All of those people,
Steve Allen didn't he have a Tonight Show too?
Yes, he sure did. Yes, indeed. Oh, yes, indeed. He created the whole thing. He and Pat Weaver created the Tonight Show. And they're playing Hal March's The Doggy in the Window right now. That's right. I wonder who played the part of the dog. We never know who did the woof woof on Patty's recording.
We never asked, did we?
I wonder, millions and millions of records. We'll ask Patty about. Yeah, we'll say who.
Doggy.
What was scale for a woof over in those days?
Right.
Yeah.
Wonderful talking to you.
Oh, thank
You're
you,
married,
Skip.
are you?
Yes, married. I have quite a few years. My 2 sons are in the business. My son Chris, who's the youngest, has just produced a movie called Border to Border that will be out soon. And many stars: Rue McClanahan, Marla Gibbs, Jonathan Silver. Oh, I do too. Jonathan Silverman. He's got a quite cast, and so that'll be coming out soon, and it's at the New York Film Festival right now.
Great.
And also, my son Scott was one of the producers of America's Most Wanted, worked for Fred Silverman for a number of years, so I'm proud of both of them.
Fred Silverman's a wonderful guy.
Yes, he is. Yeah, Fred chose me as Space Ghost along with Joe Barbera years ago.
You're a wonderful gentleman, and thank you so very much.
Thank you, Skip. You're a great interviewer. You're a great
interviewer.
interviewer.
We are with Patti Page at the Tower Records.
Isn't this a magic moment? She is.
This is a magic moment for me to talk to you.
Well, thank you.
I've been trying to talk to you for a long
I
time.
know you have, and
I
appreciate.
You in the studio.
Well, yeah, that's great. Thank you. Well, this is where I live.
Okay,
I live in this record bin
This
here.
is Carey Owens, my darling. Thank you.
Thank you, Skip. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Have their own smell, I swear. Old
Question.
Okay.
That before I leave and let you, while you're signing that, I forgot to ask you, the doggy in the window, who was that doggy? Who played the doggy?
There were two people.
Yes.
The little bark was Joe Reisman, who was the arranger.
Right.
And he also was later became an A&R man at RCA Victor. But he was one of the original saxophone players on that band that I told you about that I
Right.
first went with. And then the big bark was Max Seppes, who was our first violinist, and on my TV show, and he was the contractor.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I just wanted to find out. That's
Okay.
all our audience would like to know.
They never
Thank you.
got any royalties.
No, never.
No. Too
Patty
bad.
Page. Patty Page, I'll let you go back to your signing.
Thank you. Thank you, Skip.
Bye-bye, dear.
He said he would.
Well, here I am with Miss Patti Page's husband and two grandchildren, and your name is?
Jerry.
Jerry.
Yes.
Jerry, how are you, darling? How old are
Good.
you?
I'm 10.
10.
Erica, and
Erica.
I'm 12.
Erica's 12. Boy, she big for 12. Boy, how are you, Eric? And this is Gary. This is Gary?
Jerry.
Jerry?
She's
Jerry?
named after me.
Oh, is she named after you?
That's right.
And where are you from, Jerry, originally?
Original New York.
New York. How did you meet Miss Patti Page?
Well, not a long story. She was the best friend of my first wife, who passed away of leukemia, and they had known each other for years. And I always said that she had all the lowdown on me because I used to work. They used to play bridge. When my wife passed away, we had a lot of things in common, and one thing led to another, and we fell in love and got married.
Of course, you fall in love first, and then you get married. Tell me something about your grandmother. Is it? Is that your grandmother, Patti Page?
Yes.
Yes. How do you feel about listening to all her beautiful records? You grew up listening to it, right?
Yes. Well, I really like them. I'm glad we went to Carnegie Hall last year, so it was really a fun experience.
Was that a great experience?
Yes.
Listening to her sing at Carnegie Hall?
Yes.
How about you? Were you there too?
Yes,
Yeah.
I was, and it was very fun, and I think she has a great voice, and I like listening to it.
What's your favorite song of your grandmother's? You have a favorite?
What's it called? The Mama Doll song.
Mommy Dog song.
The Mama Doll song.
Really?
Yes.
Why is that?
I just like it. It reminds me kind of me because, like, blonde hair and blue eyes, so.
She looks
just
just
like
like little Patti, doesn't she? She's beautiful.
Yes.
Yes. Are you going to be a singer too? Grandmother?
Not really. Erica does that.
Erica? Yes.
No, I don't. I want to be a teacher
Oh,
now.
you want to be a teacher? I see.
But she's a good singer.
I see. And you're living where now?
Huntington Beach?
But you live in.
We have a home in Del Mar, and we have a farm in New Hampshire,
I see.
up about an hour north of Dartmouth, where we have the maple syrup business. That's a name brand under Patty's.
Under Patti.
Right, and Music of Your Life carries a lot of the products that we have that Patty's doing a show for.
Patti Page. I forgot to ask. Is that her? Who gave her that name?
The milk company that
milk
she,
company.
yes, Page Milk Company in Tulsa, because Patti was working there and she was trying to have a career in art.
Right.
And the singing just was sort of after a fact. But make a long story short, she asked for the name when she left, and they said, yes, there'll never be another Patti Page, and you can have the name. And that's how she got the name Patti.
My favorite song is playing right now.
Beautiful.
It is one of the greatest songs in America. This is a really American great song.
Well, Patti has several. You know, for a while, a lot of the disc jockeys used to name her the territorial singer.
That's right.
Allegheny Moon, Old Cape Cod, and then you can get into the nostalgia, but Tennessee Waltz, another great territorial.
I used to work the military bases in Germany and all over the world, entertaining the troops, like your grandmother. And I was a comedian. And every time I used to go to the bases, I used to work with girl singers, and they all wanted to copy Patti Page. Everybody wanted to be another Patti Page. Wasn't that a great feeling to have that? And they used to sing these songs. All these wonderful songs.
Well, I think there's a few of the now singers, like Sybil Shepherd just did an album, and one of the songs is
Big fan of Patti Page.
Big fan, yes, and there's several that have,
I talked to Sybil Shepherd. She told me she is a big fan of Miss Patti Page. That's what she does.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Well, it was our pleasure, and
Wonderful.
thank you.
Congratulations.
And of course, we're
You having a
prejudiced.
good time, huh, honey?
Yes.
Your grandmother's song is playing. That makes me feel good, too, because I love that song, too. Thank you.
Thank you very
Bye.
much. Thank you.
Bye-bye,
Have a
darling.
nice day.
Great, thanks. We can angle it a little maybe to get her there. There we go. That's great.
Right in front of it. Yeah, absolutely. Patti in front. Okay? Yeah.
Do you want to single here?
We'll do both. Go ahead. We'll do both, Chuck. Hi, how are you?
Oh, we get a little in-store performance. Yes.
No, you go ahead. No, he's not.
Beautiful. One more. Great. I'm sorry, Patti, one more for a second.
Talked about nifty device.
Okay, hold it. This is really nice. Hold it. Oh, hold on. Good jam.
Yes, go back to Sam.
Okay, let's try that again.
Here I am at the Tower Records this afternoon, and guess what? Here's the signing of Yma Sumac. Yma Sumac, where have you been? You've been away for you keep working, but returned in New York and Hollywood, and...
Yes, well, I was semi-retired after performing for a long time, many years, and then one day I became very, very, very tired and sick. And then I decided to come back to my country to be with my parents.
Right.
And then over there I hired it for close to 15 or 16 years. And then suddenly I received a letter from the United States to offer me to go back to the United States because American people were missing so much Yma Sumac because many people thought that Yma Sumac was dead or retired. So when I was retired, I never announced that I'm going to be semi-retired. So no, I disappeared. Because and then I come back in 1984 here. So since that I started.
I'm listening to the records right now, your records. Now, how do you feel when you hear this incredible voice? This is how long ago was this taken?
I started doing the first album 1951, 52, 53, 59, until 1960. Well, I still sing the songs,
of course.
And the concert, the special songs. And then, sometimes yes, I hear, sometimes I become tired to hear myself.
To keep the voice in shape like you do. Each morning you vocalize?
I never vocalize.
Never vocalize?
No, wait a minute. I never vocalize in my house. I go to the Malibu mountains so nobody can see me. They hurt me only the nature and the birds.
Outside?
So I can breathe.
So Yma Sumac vocalizes
with the nature.
In the air, the nature.
Because I have the breath of the ocean, that's a very pure air for me.
When you were a little girl, is that how you discovered this?
This as I did, singing with the little birds, all the animals, and the big, beautiful stones in the river. So I thought the stone was the people, my audience, because I was a little girl, And the birds was my inspiration, because each bird, they sing completely different.
You sing very spiritual. Is Yma Sumac very spiritual?
Very,
yes?
Very, no materialistic, no. Of course, everybody needs money, to pay the house, to pay this. To be materialistic, I want to spend all my money in jewelry. No, I keep the money when you get old.
You have a lot of fans here today,
Yes,
here
I
at
know.
Capitol Records,
Yes.
and you're signing these wonderful pictures and
Yes.
records. And
Well, that is
how
the
do you
way.
feel about the young fans who really,
Oh,
you know?
yes, it's surprising. Well, since the first time, all the young people, they were crazy about it. So when I come back, after 2,000 years again, the new generations in Yma, we adore you. He said, why? You never heard it? Yes, Miss Yma, we have your records over there. And then I go to Europe again, they say the same things. Miss Yma, we love it very much. And
The world loves Yma Sumac,
Yes.
and here they're waiting for you to be
Well,
signed, so
you
I'm going
know,
to let you go on
yes,
signing,
yes, I
and I can
will.
see you at the party, which
Oh,
they're
you can
having.
come. I can
Capitol
see that.
Records is
All
having a
right.
party for you this evening.
Oh,
I
yes.
will see you there, okay? And
All
they're
right.
giving you an award. Is that right, Alan?
Good.
Good. Thank you, Yma
But
Sumac.
this is a surprise for me.
Bye-bye, my love.
Thank you, dear. See you.
Thank you so much. I had one of your CDs once and someone stole it from me that was signed. That was autographed by you before.
Real quick.
We'll see.
We'll see you. Thank you.
This gentleman just wanted to say,
I'm Carey. Meyer is my father. He died. My mom died also.
I know. You gotta make it quick.
If you want to write me, write to my P.O. Box 204.
This is an old friend, Miss. Calm down, please. Hey, aren't there fighting words for you guys? Isn't that fight? You don't have to.
Write to you.
Can you sign the blue pen? What's your name? Oh, you want to drop you a lot? So we're going to go Yma Sumac. And hi, how are you?
Hi, fine, thank you. Chris Guerra.
Chris and
My name is Damon.
Damon. You're from LA, are you?
Yeah.
Yes. Tell me about Yma Sumac. Young guys like you listening to this exquisite music. The voice.
Greatest voice you could
Fan?
possibly
Big
imagine.
fan?
Oh yeah, definitely.
When you discovered
Well, I like another musician that's similar to her, and so I learned about her.
learned like what?
Her voice octaves, which I love all of that.
Right.
Just a whole exotic thing. It's exotic people, if
I'm
you know.
looking at you. You're quite exotic yourself. Are you? You're
Mhm.
in the music industry?
Well, not really, but I wouldn't mind being. And then I learned about her from him, actually. So we met her a couple of weeks ago.
Did you really?
And that was totally exciting at a record show in Buena Park. Yeah, I adore her. We're going to take our picture with her too, which is thrilling.
Well, that's very nice.
Yeah, definitely. It's a big thrill.
It's incredible to hear some young people to be fans of this great lady.
I wonder what she thinks about it.
That's what we're going to ask when you get up there. I'm going to ask her, okay?
She appeals to all ages, you know, it's like timeless music, definitely. Yeah,
Good. Nice start. Thank you.
too.
I'll be right back.
She wants to see it. I think they already know. No. Excuse me.
Isn't that beautiful?
Did you remember us from the record show in Buena Park? We met you at the record show in Buena Park.
2 weeks ago?
Yes, we were there.
How
do you feel about these young fans of
Well,
yours?
because
I mean, they're young, Yma Sumac.
They can be my sons too,
Yes,
you
yes,
know?
yes.
Yeah. How old you are?
I'm 21.
Don't pass the 40. Okay. Yeah. This is for this is for you.
This is my name.
Beautiful. That's a nice voice. Yeah, they said they were selling so much. Yeah, people were buying 5 of them.
I got my cell phone, so she's been calling in and recording regularly. And we really are. People. Good evening. Did you turn it on? Yeah. We gotta make. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Warren Kolodny from KCRW. We're glad to welcome you here tonight, and we hope you're enjoying a taste of the Andes with this Peruvian tapas and Incan pisco sours. I'm thrilled to have been asked here tonight to pay tribute to an exquisite artist, the legendary Miss Yma Sumac.
Woo! Yeah!
Whenever I've played,
There she is.
Yes.
Whenever I've played Yma's majestic music on my radio show, the phone lights up every time with astonished listeners. Yma's exotic voice appeals directly to the imagination, and her immortal recordings have delight fans for over 40 years.
For 7 years.
She has her own star right here on Hollywood Boulevard, and her legendary fame has spread all over the globe. I'm privileged also to introduce to you the man who had the daring and the foresight to reissue all of these extraordinary recordings, Mr. Tom Cartwright.
Thank you. I think Warren has really said it all. I'm very proud to have been part of this with Capitol Records and releasing all 5 of these albums. We've got a little surprise here behind the screen. I'm going to ask Jeremy Hammond with Capitol Records to sort of read the little script to you.
Okay, I'm Jeremy Hammond from Capitol Records, and
can we get Yma up here?
Yma, would you like to come? Yeah, I'll read the plaque, and then this is presented to Yma Sumac in honor of your achievement as a legendary performer. To Yma Sumac, so she'll be up in a minute. Yma.
Let's give her a nice
come on.
round of applause.
Here we are. Wow. Here we are.
Jeremy, you want to read that
Once
again?
more, yeah. Presented to Yma Sumac in honor of your achievement and as a legendary performer.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure.
First, I want to say that thank you
Ladies
very
and
much.
gentlemen, Yma Sumac.
Yes,
I hope I have enough words to express my gratitude to Capitol Records. Right now, I just came from Capitol Records. I'm very tired because I was signing 2 hours and a half of photos. But anyway, I'm very happy to be here because in this pleasant evening. And I know Capitol Records very well. Their capacity, their wisdom for this business and records. So when they know, when they have a good product, they know how to develop that product. And I hope, and the wisdom too, I wish all my best to Capitol Records for the continuous success in their business. And thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, thank you very much.
You know what I want? If I can have everybody kind of stay in tight, so I can get through the shot, okay? Are we standing? Well,
Following program is a live presentation produced by a member of the community. The views expressed and concepts advanced are solely those of the producer and do not necessarily represent the views of West Hollywood Public Access, the City of West Hollywood, or any of their employees. For more information about public access programming in the City of West Hollywood, please call 323-848-6522.
Doris Roberts, New York, St. Louis, born in St. Louis, but New York, you really grew up there.
Absolutely.
What age, Doris Roberts, when you decided you wanted to be an actress? 12, 14? What?
5.
Really?
Yes. I was in kindergarten.
You really knew exactly what you wanted?
Yes. I had a line in a little play. I was Patrick Potato, and this is my cousin, Mrs. Tomato. And I heard laughter like that. And that was the bug that bit me.
Did you know that Shelley Winters is from St. Louis, too?
Yes.
You did know that? Because you always remind me of a young Shelley Winters, you and her. Yeah, always. When I first remembered you, when I first saw you on television, always remind me of Miss Winters, because I'm a good friend of Shelley. And I just always thought, Doris Roberts, young. But you did a movie that she did, and Anne Frank, the daughter of Anne Frank.
That's right.
You played Miss Von Dom?
I did, with my friend Jimmy Coco, and Maximilian Schell. What's his name now? I've forgotten the name.
That's okay.
Maximilian Schell?
Yeah, the German guy. Yes, of course.
Melissa Gilbert, a whole bunch of people.
Was it a wonderful, wonderful movie? Yeah, it was great. Tell me something, Doris. Your very first theater. You remember going back, the very first thing you did in the theater?
In the theater?
In the theater. I'm not in the movies, in the theater, because you love the theater now,
I
Doris.
do. I love the theater.
That's right.
Well, the time of your life.
Uh-huh.
At City Center.
Ah.
Oh, yes. I played a hooker. I had 3 lines. And one of the lines was in reference to Gloria Vanderbilt. Gloria Vanderbilt was in the show as well as Frances Tone. Oh my goodness. Lenka Peterson.
Frances Tone, what a wonderful, elegant man.
Yes, he was.
And Gloria, wonderful lady. And she's got her son now on CNN on the news.
Isn't he wonderful?
And he's wonderful, isn't he?
Right.
And
but Gloria, and when she left the stage, my line was in reference to her. It was, "It's floozies like her that raise hell with our racket." And the audience went crazy. They stomped and whistled and carried on. And that night at the opening night party, Mr. Saroyan said, "We're going to have to cut that line, Doris." I grabbed him by his lapels and said, "You know what it took for me to get those 3 lines? Please don't cut it." And he didn't.
That's great. Musical. You sang, you danced?
No.
Never?
No, but I did
But
a musical.
you did a musical.
I did, Bye Bye Birdie, 2 years
That's
ago.
right.
Yeah.
How was that?
It was great.
Yeah.
Very exciting, but oh my goodness, the energy.
You got to have energy.
Oh,
Yeah.
and how?
That's an energy show, too.
It is, yeah.
Doris, tell me something. Growing up in St. Louis, did you grew up there?
No.
No.
I was just born there. I left when I was 6 months old.
So you grew up where?
New York.
In Manhattan?
First in the Bronx and then Manhattan.
Yeah, the Bronx. It seems like everybody goes to the Bronx or Brooklyn, you know. Growing up in New York is the greatest city in the world for me.
It is.
When you come out to California first time, for what? What was it? TV?
Mary Tyler Moore.
The Mary Tyler Moore Show. That was a great show.
Yes.
Working with her.
Working with her, Cloris Leachman. Yeah.
I love her too.
Yes.
I love Cloris Leachman. She's
fine.
matter of fact, you're having a very big thing. She's not in this, but
No.
you do have someone I really like in here, Tony Danza. You played his mother, and a very, very Hallmark card thing, right?
No, it wasn't a Hallmark.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't. It was a private company that
Company.
put it. Yeah.
Okay, but that's a true story about Tony Danza's mother?
Yes.
You had people crying. He was so good. And so he's in here, sings, dances.
He does.
Musical comedy.
Yes, he does.
And you have Sally Kellerman. Now tell me about this wonderful music of salute to our young man who teaches acting.
Milton Katselas.
Milton Katselas.
Right.
Would you consider him a method actor, a method teacher? Or what is he? He's not really a
He's
method.
brilliant beyond belief. I
ahead.
still go to class at my age.
On
and
Saturdays?
On Saturday morning, and learn something new every Saturday morning. The man is a great teacher, a great teacher.
Right.
A fabulous, fabulous director and a painter. I mean, he's extraordinary.
At the Beverly Hills Playhouse?
At the Beverly Hills Playhouse. And what
Right.
we're doing next Sunday, or a week from Sunday,
Right.
October 22nd, at the Frood Theater at UCLA,
Right.
we're putting on a benefit for the Beverly Hills Playhouse and the Camelot Players. This is a non-profit organization, and this is a theater, and we will run 4 shows a year. And the monies that we raise with our tickets,
Right.
which is a non-profit theater group, is because it's non-profit,
Right.
is tax deductible.
Right.
And the people that we have,
You have Jason Alexander, Brian Cullen.
Brady?
He's a comic. Wayne
Brian-
Brady?
No, Wayne Brady is a fabulous singer, dancer, comic.
But Brian is a
Brian is a great comic, right?
And Time Daly, one of my favorite ladies. And guess what? Tony Danza.
And Tony Danza and Michael Feinstein.
Hey, Michael,
And-
greatest.
And Sally Kellerman. Look at that.
I love Sally Kellerman.
And,
I just
and
saw.
Larry Miller. I mean, it goes on and on and on. And Dale Christian, it's a
And
fabulous-
Ray is
Ray
there.
Romano, my son.
Boy, your son's going to be there. What a show. Lee Thompson and Bruce Valant.
Oh, funniest man around.
He really is, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
He writes great material.
He does, he does.
Has he ever written anything for you?
Yes, he has.
He has? Really? This musical, the show, it seems like it's David Gulligan's directing.
He's going to
this.
direct it, yes.
So it's going to be the 22nd. And now if people want tickets, where do they call?
Okay, get your pencils ready.
Yeah.
This is 310-659-0741.
It's actually 310-659
07 51. No, 41. 41.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me do it one more time.
Yeah,
to
of
make sure.
course. We can do it. Don't worry.
310
Yeah.
659 0741.
And look at this. Michael's going to be. I love Michael Feinstein. He's
He's
great.
fabulous. They're all fabulous.
Yeah,
They're an incredible
How did you
night.
get this light?
How about that?
Group.
And they're doing it as a benefit for the theater.
And nobody's getting paid. They're just going out there.
Right.
And the tickets are not that much, are they?
Well, they're different prices.
Different prices.
You call that number and you decide which one you want. And it starts at 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. And then I understand you're having a little champagne after,
Yes,
or
yes.
drinks.
All kinds of
Hey,
good things.
that's
right.
great.
And a silent auction that will knock your socks off.
Is there a silent auction?
Oh, is there?
You didn't tell me that.
Oh, yes.
I like
yes.
that.
Great
What kind of an auction you're going to have?
Well, for instance, there's a house in Puerto Vallarta for 5 days.
Oh, okay. That's
great
good.
restaurants. Great restaurants. Yep, absolutely.
Good. You look great. You're keeping yourself busy.
Yes.
What is new beside this and exciting in Doris Roberts' life now? You just filmed something. What?
Well, since we stopped filming Everybody Loves Raymond, I've done 3 films. One was Grandma's Boy for Adam Sandler, which is outrageous.
How's he? Isn't he funny?
Oh, well, he wasn't in the film, but he produced it, and the film is very funny.
But he is funny,
Oh,
too.
he is.
And why is he so successful?
Well,
he is so successful.
he has the beat of the public that he...
Yeah, he has that fan club
absolutely.
there. Yeah.
And
So you finished that one?
That's
and then,
one, and that's on, I think, DVD now.
Right.
Then I did one for Hallmark called Our House,
Okay.
which I played a rich woman who brought in people who were on the street, who were homeless people.
But you do help the homeless, though. I've seen you around town helping people, giving your time.
I do a lot of charity work.
You do.
Yes, I do.
You do.
And then the other film I did, which is a charming film, is called Keeping Up with the Steins.
Okay.
And I play Gary Marshall's ex-wife.
Have you ever worked his theater in the
No,
Valley?
I haven't. I
It's
should.
a cute little theater.
Cute, yeah.
I understand
Very
Tony Danza is going to be opening there.
Yes, he is.
Real, your
Yeah.
favorite man, too.
Yes,
He's
he
good.
is.
You're good friends with Tony.
I am.
Yeah, he's a sweet kind of guy, is he really? He's
terrific.
A family boy.
Very true, very real. What you see is who he is. And he's remarkable when you think that he was in a terrible ski accident and broke his back.
And
was
tap
so-
dancing.
And tap dancing.
Oh,
no, he
dances.
No, he doesn't, like me, he doesn't take no for an answer.
You've had some tough times, though, Doris. You had a beautiful husband. Great. Great
writer.
man.
Yeah.
A great writer,
Yeah.
yes. Miss him?
Of course I miss him. But you know what? I'm lucky I had him.
What do you mean by that?
Just
That's
that.
you
I
know?
had him. I was married to him for 22 years.
22.
I had 22 glorious years. Some people never have that at all.
That's right. That's
and
right.
I had that.
That's wonderful. So you've had some good times in your life, and you've had some
I'm having
bad,
a great
and you're having a good time now.
Absolutely.
Because you go out a lot.
Absolutely.
You don't stay home, Doris.
No, dear, I do not.
I see you go out to dinners and
All the
theaters.
time.
That is good. I like that.
I'm going to theater tonight.
You are? What are you going to see?
I'm going to see Lynn Redgrave down at the Mock Taper.
Lynn Redgrave. I interviewed her and talked about her father. She told me about her dad when he was on the deathbed. And Lynn said to me, I said, Lynn, do you have any regrets? She says, Skippy, I'm so sorry that he didn't spend much time with me and tell me how much he loved me. The girls, you know. Didn't tell him. That's how. At the deathbed, he told. Interesting. She was a great actress.
She's fabulous. Fabulous.
What's some of your moments in your life like that? Tell me. Are there any moments in Doris Roberts' life that stick in your mind? That
Sure.
What?
The death of my husband. I held him in my arms until he died. And I did nothing but tell him how much I loved him and what he did for me and how he changed my life.
How did he change your life, Doris?
He was my lover, my husband, my friend, my mentor.
See?
He taught me so many things about life, about music, about literature, about paintings. And it was never a patronizing attitude. It was one of sharing with me.
I bet you spent many times having dinner, didn't even speak, because you knew each other's.
We knew each other.
And you didn't have to
Absolutely.
speak.
Not
Am I
at
right?
all. Not at all.
When you know each.
You know someone that well, you don't have to
You
speak.
know.
No,
Yeah, that's
no.
true.
That was.
I like to go out with people like that. You don't have to speak.
I won't ever forget, though, that moment. I felt life leave his body.
Did you really?
Yes, I did. And if you want to call that spirit,
No.
or electricity, or whatever you want to call it, I felt that leave his body. And I understood now what life is about.
So Doris Roberts is spiritual then?
Oh, very much so.
You grew up as a spiritual lady, or
No.
just no?
No. It came to me as I became an adult.
Did you have a tough time growing up as an actress in New York? Was it tough for Doris?
I didn't think it was tough. I
No?
thought it was exciting and extraordinary. I love what I do. I'm blessed. I love to act. I have the same passion for it that I did when I was 18 years old.
Ah, that's
It's
so
a joy
good.
for me.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a joy.
That's what makes a great actress.
Yeah, well,
when
I
you
hope
do
so.
it so easy and with the joy of it all, the love.
Love
I
it.
agree. You did a wonderful TV show. I think it was a TV show of Annie Frank.
Yes.
The Diary of
Yes.
Anne Frank. And I think you played the Shelley Winters part.
I certainly
with
did.
Don Don.
Yes.
Tell me about that. I'm sure you didn't go into Shelley's part. You
Yeah.
did your own.
I did my own version.
Yeah. How do you do that, Doris, without, how does an actress or an actor do a thing like that? Because it's tough.
Not for me.
Well, go ahead.
Not for me. I claim my own space. Where I stand or sit, no one else sits. I don't want anybody else's space. I don't want to take anything from anyone else. I just want my own.
That's good. Yeah.
And I do, and that's very wonderful. And I'm very content in my own skin.
Where did you study when you were many?
Well, certainly the Actors Studio.
Actors Studio.
For many, many years.
Lee? Did you study
Yes,
with Lee?
I studied with Lee.
I see. But method, do you think you mix it up? If you get method, and Casalis is mixed up, isn't he? Tell me about it.
His method, he's also with the Actors Studio. But what he teaches his students, which I find so extraordinary, is he encourages them to play with their imagination, to find ways that are different and interesting, and just allowing that imagination that you have as a child to take over, and not stick to just the words. You can do it in behavior. You're still using the words of an author. I'm not saying you don't honor that. Certainly I do. But you allow an imagination to happen that enhances your character.
Yes.
And it's all done in behavior and the subtext. It's the subtext of people that's interesting. It's not necessarily what they're saying. It's what's going on underneath what they're saying.
Yeah.
And if you really want to learn how to act, watch the 6 o'clock news.
Why is that?
If you see someone that's being interviewed who's lost their child, you won't see someone who wants to cry. You will see someone who's trying to keep it together. And in doing that, they become heroic.
I see. Interesting. It's very
Actors love to cry.
Yes, we do.
People don't.
Yeah, yeah. People don't. Yeah, yeah.
And the more you cry, the less the audience will.
That's right. That's true. That's very true. It's very true.
So
to be a good actor, Doris Roberts, listening is very important.
Listening is very important, and being alive is very important, and being a person is very important. I mean, often you will see this happen where an actor will be very alive and telling what they're supposed to say, and then when the speech is over, they die, and they wait while they're listening to the other actor, and then they come alive again. Well, that drives me crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
Crazy. I am alive. If I'm on a stage or on a set, I'm alive to everybody who's there.
Who's there, right.
And I'm listening, and I have an idea, and I have a response to it. I don't need to have words.
Yes, yes, yes.
Not
yes.
at all.
Yeah.
My body, my behavior will tell you what's going on. Or there's also creative hiding. I will hide what I'm really feeling. But if you look closely into my eyes, you might get a flicker of something. That's good.
I saw you in Vermont teaching one day. What was that wonderful show you did? I don't know. I can't remember it. You were teaching a class or something, or this acting group you had there on Vermont, that theater there.
Oh, right.
What was it? You were so wonderful
Oh, I was directing.
Directing.
I was directing a play that Jack Betts wrote.
That's it, Jack Betts.
Right. And
matter of fact, Jack Betts is going to be in here.
Yes, he's going to be in that.
Okay, go ahead.
And I had 23 actors. I had music.
Right.
I rain over my head.
You were wonderful. I remember when you
good.
going back and forth. Oh, I thought you were great, the way you handled the whole
There was
thing.
a young man who came on stage, and I asked him where he came from. He said, stage left. I said, and you were very boring. What do you mean, stage left? Where did you come from this morning? What was the life that you bring to this stage? So I could be a good teacher, but I think I'd be too tough.
Shelley Winters. I attended many of her classes when she was here at the Actors Studio here. Not in New York here. And she's wonderful.
Good.
And I just, have you attended her classes?
No.
Never?
Never.
Because you're a member of the Actors Studio.
Yes, yeah, but
members do go to sit in.
Yeah.
Doris
No,
Roberts?
I
never?
don't know.
No, you just go, you go Saturday morning to...
I go Saturday mornings to Milton Kutzelis.
That's
and this incredible benefit that we're doing for him. I'd like to also mention...
Yeah, go ahead.
The people who have bought tickets and are sponsors, like Kroll Vodka, is very generous. We have an open bar of vodka.
Really? We have that kind of thing? I love it.
We also have Dom Perignon, who is sponsoring and giving us sparkling wine, which is exciting.
That's going to be great.
Yes, it will be.
So the whole thing, you're going to have champagne, vodka, wine. It's going to be great. And people, mixture of stars.
Fabulous stars.
Out there.
Fabulous stars.
Ladies and gentlemen, you got to
get your tickets.
You're right. Okay. And just call for reservations at 310-659-0741. And boy, that's at the UCLA Food Playhouse.
Yes. October 22nd.
Yeah, October 22nd. It's Saturday.
No, Sunday.
That's right.
Sunday.
It's Sunday.
That's right, at 6 o'clock.
It's a good time. Sunday 6 is great.
And a great bunch of things to bid on. Silent auction that will be incredible.
Really?
Great restaurants.
Anything that you're going to bring, people can bid on yours? Anything?
Yes, from Everybody Loves Raymond.
Yes.
We have things from Desperate Housewives.
See, that's what
yes, we have all kinds of wonderful things.
Great.
And houses in Puerto Vallarta and one on Martha's Vineyard and great stuff. But great restaurants.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh, absolutely. We have Jar. I know that we have Jar. I know that we have Orso's. I know that we have Providence. And I think maybe Mazzo, which is a new restaurant that Phil Rosenthal is involved in.
Doris Roberts, do you have a favorite restaurant in L.A.? I see you around.
I love Orso's.
Yeah?
I love going to Orso's. Yeah, because I see a lot of my friends there.
That's the one on
3rd.
On 3rd. Yeah, Orso's, yeah. That is nice. I haven't spent much time there. I did a couple times. Yeah. What kind of food they have there? Is it?
It's a mixture of everything.
Yeah.
But it has wonderful pizzas and pastas.
Osso's. Yeah. I remember that place. The restaurant I really love is Trilusa. I'm there on Monday nights, Doris.
Great.
Trilusa, I do a talent night with a bunch of singers, comedians, and it's fun. And then on Tuesday nights, I'm at the Ballage, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
Ballage. Hey, I'm pushing a lot of things here. Might as well push mine, too. But you got to go to UCLA at the Frog Theater, and this is Sunday, October the 22nd, right, Doris?
At 6
And it's going to be fun. At 6, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Michael Feinstein. Oh,
wonderful.
Look at
all that. Look at all those
Look
people.
at those people. Come on.
Ray Romano.
Ray Romano. What kind of guy is Ray?
He's the best, honey. What you see?
He's so sweet, isn't he?
He's a very good man.
Look at this. God gave him luck.
Yes.
Because he is so kind.
Yes.
He helps his family, his wife, children.
Yeah. He's
what a
wonderful.
human being. Working with him, was it easy working with him?
Easy as pie.
Really?
Oh, it was one. We had a great time. We had a great show. 9 years.
No bitches on the show?
Not one. I want to tell you that no one. We never had an argument with anybody.
That's great.
Never.
That's why the show was successful.
Absolutely.
People see it through the tubes.
Absolutely.
Am I right, Red?
9 years of that.
9
Glorious writing, fabulous writing, and wonderful actors who wanted to be there, wanted to be funny, wanted to do their work.
Doris Roberts, what luck, though.
Yeah.
See, I like a lady that said, I am happy and content, and you're lucky.
I
And
am.
you are lucky.
Yes, I am.
You are. You had, look how many successful shows you've been in.
It takes work, honey.
I know.
It just doesn't come.
No, I know
You
that.
don't pick up the phone and say, hello, life. It takes
9
work.
years, look at the money you're making.
You
now.
bet,
The money.
you bet.
Hey, that's it. You deserve it, baby.
You bet, you bet.
I think it's great, Doris.
I do, too.
It's wonderful. And you do help people a lot.
I do. I have an organization called Children Affected by AIDS Foundation.
Yeah, tell me about that. That's what I wanted to say.
Okay, it's called Dream Halloween, and we're at the Barker Hangar on this Sunday, I believe, before Thanksgiving.
For children.
Not Thanksgiving, Halloween.
Halloween, yeah, for children
And it's
that
for children.
AIDS.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they're either infected by AIDS or affected in that their parents have it.
Oh.
And we really do great work. We've raised millions of dollars.
How do people contact this organization if they want to help?
Children
donate?
affected by AIDS. Well, let me see if I remember the phone number. It's 310-258-0850.
0850, because there's a lot of people out there would love to help for that.
And it's a great thing because we do it in New York, we do it in Chicago, and we do it in Los Angeles.
Great, great, Doris.
This is my 15th year with Children Affected by AIDS Foundation.
You live in LA.
Yeah.
You travel back and forth. You prefer LA than New York? Or
Yeah,
you
but I
just-
love New York.
I
New
do
York
too.
is a great city.
The greatest city in the world, Doris.
Very exciting.
I grew up, I love it. I miss it. When I leave New York, I'm camping out. I'm camping out, honey. I don't want to, I don't care for LA. I never did. I know it's a great city, but it's not theater. Am I right, Doris? The theater.
No, it's not theater, it's Hollywood.
Yeah,
It's
it's a
film and
difference.
television. Yeah,
Television.
Mostly, yeah.
Yeah.
There are some wonderful theaters out here.
Yeah,
And
hey.
that's why I'm helping put this together, because it's benefiting the theater, the Camelot
It
Players.
is benefiting the theater, that's right.
Absolutely.
But
And
Milk
it-
Gonzalez
it's
is
go-
theater.
Yes, and it's
Yeah.
going to be a nonprofit theater that will show 4 different programs a
Right.
year.
Oh, that's
And that's
great.
what we're raising the money for.
That's great. That's really
And
good.
also to bring it to children in schools so that children understand how wonderful theater can be.
Who's the musical director? Gerald Sternberg back?
Yep.
Yeah, he's great.
Sternberg, yes, he is.
And David Galligan, he's done all the directions of all these little
Right,
shows
so-
around
yes,
town.
he has.
He's
Yes,
a
he has.
fantastic
Yes, he has.
director.
Who, are we missing anyone? Did we mention?
Oh, Lee.
No, did we miss?
Who, darling?
Let me see.
Bruce? Oh, yes, we mentioned this lady, isn't she?
Camila Saviola.
Yeah.
And we did Ray Romano and Sally Kellerman. Leah Thompson.
Lee
yeah,
Thompson.
yeah.
And I
Bruce
love
Romano.
Michael.
Now, Michael Pena is the young man in World Trade Center.
That's
He's
it.
the star in that, and he was also in Crash, in which he was so fabulous. And he's going to entertain.
Yes.
So, and Larry Miller is going to entertain.
And who's hosting the show? I mean, who's emceeing?
Sort of me.
You are? Good girl. That's great. I'm going to come to see you.
Good, great.
Afternoon. I
Good.
love it there to see all these great people. They're all my friends. You know, Michael started with me at the Hyatt, at the E Little Club in
Did he?
Beverly Hills.
Michael?
Michael
Nice.
started with me playing the piano.
Oh, my. How great.
When he came from Ohio. That's where he came from, Ohio somewhere, I think.
Yeah.
And he's wonderful. He's a
Oh, he's
charming.
great.
Couldn't get any better than this young
No.
man.
No, you can't.
Then he met Liza Minnelli, and he took him over at the Le Mondrian, and that's where it all happened. Did you go to Le Mondrian when he was there, when Liza?
Yes, I did. Yes,
Did
I
you?
did. Yes,
Remember
I
that
did.
that
Oh,
evening?
That's fabulous.
She introduced him to all of them.
Yeah.
Oh, he was just
Yeah,
wonderful.
she was.
And
Still is.
yeah.
Still is.
Yeah, he's great. Time Daly.
How about that?
Love her
Isn't
brother. Her brother,
Tim, yeah.
Tim is such a, and his wife.
Yes.
They're still around, aren't they?
Yes, oh, sure.
I don't see them around. That's
Tim's
right.
in a series now.
Is he?
Yes, he is, and I can't remember what it is. But he is on a series.
I loved him. I think he's
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
And I love Time. She was great in,
Did you ever see her do Gypsy?
that's what I meant. That's the show.
Fabulous.
Oh, she was fabulous.
Oh,
I went to see it with Mimi Hines.
oh yeah.
Little Mimi Hines
yeah,
and
yeah,
Phil
yeah.
Ford.
Good.
Little Mimi.
Yeah.
So tell me something. What shows? You've done so much television,
Yeah.
so many. What's your favorite thing you ever done? Do you have a favorite?
I have a favorite of different
Different episodes or
For movies,
Yeah.
a little film called Hester Street. that I love.
Uh-huh.
And I'm being honored for that in about, well, I think it's November 5th.
Great.
Palm Desert.
In Palm Desert.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
yes. And on the stage, Bad Habits,
Bad
a play
Habits.
that Terrence McNally wrote, and I won the Outer Critics Circle Award for that one.
Uh-huh.
And that Lily Tomlin saw me in that, brought me out here to California,
Uh-huh.
and we did the Lily Tomlin Comedy Hour. We won all the Emmys, but they didn't pick us up. They picked up Howard Cosell instead. So welcome to showbiz.
Yeah. You're right.
And television has to be, although I loved being on Remington Steele, but it has to be Everybody Loves Raymond.
Of course,
Yeah.
that's you know, when that first came out, before you got on camera, you came to me and you were working. You were just going for the audition or something, and you told me about that. I'm going to be doing this, and that's it all started. I remember years ago when you did my show. I remember you telling me everybody's. I just couldn't believe.
Oh, it's been
9 years you've been on that.
It's in 172 countries in the world.
God, Doris.
I was in New York last week on 57th Street and 7th Avenue, and 3 little Chinese girls came up and said, "I see you on television." I said, "Really? Where?" She said, "In China." In China.
How does that feel?
Fabulous.
Isn't it great?
It's great because of what they say to me. They say, "I love you."
They do.
Thank you for the humor you bring into my life.
Yeah.
I go to bed with a smile on my face.
See? You
That's
bring it
great.
all over the world,
Yeah.
Doris.
Isn't that incredible?
And that Ray Ramona, oh, God. What a darling man.
He is a darling man.
He is.
Yeah.
He just, just.
And he's going to be performing that night for me.
It's going to be great. You
It's
get all
gonna be
these
great.
well, they love you.
Yes,
You're
they
a
do.
lovely
They
lady,
do.
and you help
I
a lot of
called
people.
them and they said yes.
And Milt Gonzalez is just,
Great,
wonderful.
great teacher.
Where is he from originally, Milt? Is he from L.A.?
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania?
Originally, but
Uh-huh.
New York certainly.
But New York,
and
naturally.
Actor Studio, and of course he directed Butterflies Are Free on Broadway. And quite a number of other things. But
Do you have a favorite show you've done on Broadway?
my favorite is Bad Habits.
Bad Habit.
Yeah.
Is it your favorite?
Yeah. The other one is Last of the Red Hot Lovers.
That's Coco.
Yeah.
Coco, what a great guy.
Oh, wasn't he good? He was my
James
best friend.
Coco was so funny.
My
I
best
remember
friend.
you in that show. It was so good.
Yeah.
You were funny.
Yeah, really.
It's a great guy. He was so.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Looking at Hollywood, starring our host Skippy Lowe. Now if I mention the following names to you: Marilyn Monroe, Marlene Dietrich, Greta Garbo, Clifton Webb, Mae West, what would you think? Possibly that we might have John Byner on our show? One of the world's greatest impressionists? Oh no, we have someone that's greater than that. We have a psychic to all the stars. He can't do them. He converges with them every day and speaks to them. Yes, stars from yesterday and today. And we're going to find out what Mae West had to say to him today when we eavesdrop with Skippy Lowe and our special guest, Kenny Kingston.
Kenny, grew up where?
I was born in Buffalo, New York.
Buffalo, New York. Really? Grew up there?
No. I just spent about 10 years there, then went to San Francisco and New York.
San Francisco is really your basic home, isn't it? Is that your...
San Francisco, after I got out of the Army and went to San Francisco, I had a 3-room apartment, 2 bedrooms, so-and-so. I said to my mother, who was very psychic, whom you knew, who was very, very psychic, and I
Right.
said, I'm going to buy a house in Pacific Heights.
Right.
I didn't know one area from the other. Anyway, making a long story short, full of and vinegar, I decided that now was the time to buy. So I bought a charming house on the top of Pacific Heights. That's where it all began.
What all began? What,
the psychic world? Yeah, I was psychic all my life, of course, but I came out, if it were, as the psychic at that time.
What happened? Tell me exactly. The first beginning.
Oh no, well, I was psychic all my life, and I always did that. All my
But
life,
you
I
said
did that.
something that
I came out. I became internationally known at that time.
Okay.
Only because Clifton Webb rang me up one afternoon and he said, Mrs. DiMaggio has to see you. Now, DiMaggio is a common California, San Francisco name.
Marilyn Monroe's.
Didn't know it. Just took it Mrs. DiMaggio. We made an appointment for 9 o'clock. At 9 o'clock, I bought the house, incidentally, first. I bought that house at Pacific Heights. Lived there. My houseman was about to go to the door and turn off the lights because it was 9:10, and Mrs. DiMaggio hadn't arrived. 9:20, the doorbell rang. I opened the door, foggy night. There she stood. I recognized her, of course, instantaneously. Marilyn Monroe. She came in, and my first words to her were, "You're breathless." Why? I thought because of coming to a psychic, she'd be breathless. She said, the papers broke this morning that I just started psychiatric treatment. I got out of the cab 5 blocks from your home because I didn't want your reputation spoiled. That's how she was. Thoughtful, thinking about everybody else all the time.
What did you see at that moment when she walked in your house?
I saw a girl that was extremely happy to be married. I saw Marilyn
She was
Monroe
happy?
Very happy, and very happy when she passed away. Contrary to all the beliefs, I talked to her 3 days before she passed. I am the one who went to the home in Brentwood with her, but told her not to buy that particular home in Brentwood. It was just on St. Helena. It was just too dark in the shade of the trees at nighttime, you know.
Depressing home?
Depressing home, yes, very depressing. But anyway, she bought the home for $75,000, and she wasn't making very much money at the studio. She was making about $75,000 a picture, where Jane Russell was making $250,000 for the same picture. Anyway, 3 days before she passed, she rang me up. I was giving private readings. Now, I had moved down here. But let me go back to San Francisco. Let's leave Marilyn alone. God, there's enough people have talked about her. I'll just close with this to tell you, give you an exclusive. I'm writing a new book.
You are?
Yes. Berkeley have just given me a commission to be finished with the book by the end of this year, December 92. The book comes out December or before 93. I'm going to tell the real problem, the real physical problem, whatever it is, with Marilyn, Garbo, and Dietrich. The whole 3.
You're saying physical?
Well, it's a potpourri of things.
Judy Garland in there?
No. Oh, no.
Did you ever know her?
She could be. Yes, I know her.
did?
Not very well. Not very well.
But let's get back to San
Francisco.
Let's get back to Kenny Kingston, first psychic. When it first happened, did you fall off the ladder? Something hit you in the head? Like, I want to know what happened. What was the very first?
I never remember not giving messages. When I was 3 or 4 years old, my darling grandmother, Catherine Walsh Clark, taught me tea leaf reading. When I was 5 or 6 years old, my mother, Catherine K. Kingston, taught me psychometry. That's touching a piece of jewelry. You've seen me in the nightclubs.
Right,
You've
I
come
know.
to many of my performances. All right. That's psychometry, which I do during private readings or in the nightclubs, the lecture platform. But when I was 7 years old, I learned clairaudio. That's listening to the sound of a voice. When someone calls you on the telephone, or when I'm on a radio show or a television show and people call in, that's clairaudio. Mae West taught it to me when I was 7.
She taught it to you?
Sure.
You met Mae West when you were 7?
Oh, no. I met Mae West all my life. As a baby, I knew Mae West.
Knew Mae West as a baby?
But she was the most psychic lady in Hollywood, the most psychic. She bought all her property while in trance.
Right.
Wrote all her screenplays, if you will, while she was in trance. Yeah.
Kenny Kingston, single, grew up in San Francisco, traveled. What made you become a psychic? What made Kenny Kingston, when you see people, do you get scared sometime when you see?
Never. Oh, no, never. No.
You see
I'm
something
Irish.
bad?
I'm Irish. Irish don't get
Do you ever
scared.
see something
We make
bad?
people scared.
Say like Annie, for instance.
Right.
Annie's next to you.
I know. I know Annie's, all of Annie's next to me.
I understand
know
that.
Yeah.
But let's see. Annie's next to you. You get the feeling of something there about her?
Annie,
tell me.
I have known. Annie, I have known.
Oh, forget about Annie then. But do you get the feeling when you're next to a person about that feeling about the person that's going to happen, or?
Let me tell you about you.
Okay.
You won't believe this. You won't accept this. You will not accept this. I swear to you.
It's hard for me to accept
me a ring.
anything.
All right.
No, are you going to do me?
No, I'm not going to. No,
okay.
no. You would be an international household name if one thing you'd stop doing.
What?
You fear success.
Yes, because I want to.
Right.
I want to go to Santa Fe, New Mexico, and get it up. That's life.
Seriously, but I know, but you fear success. Otherwise, you'd be internationally known. You fear it.
I don't fear it.
Yes, you do. You don't want the responsibilities to go with it.
Now you're talking.
All right,
That's
you don't
not
want the
fearing, it's responsibility.
Responsibility.
It's a lot of responsibility.
Of course it is.
I'm having fun doing 1-2 days a week
I know.
or whatever.
Garble watched you all the time.
Garble?
All the time.
In New York, I was
all
told.
The time. Yeah.
Tell me about Garble. Let's get back to Garble.
San Francisco. I got a telephone call from Gaylord Hauser. And Hauser said, I'm going to be in San Francisco, and a wonderful man, I'm going to be in San
Very
Francisco.
close with her. Very close.
San Francisco. He said, I want you to meet a very special lady. She wants a reading. So the doorbell rang again. And Gaylord came with the magnificent Garbo. And I gave her a reading that was, in the early 50s. And from then on, I never stopped reading for her. Now, all the movie stars, all the politicians, they don't care if you mention who they are. Garbo did not want the world to know I was her psychic. So she went to a psychic, but I never told.
You never told anybody until recent, later.
No, I didn't.
Never?
People magazine carried the story.
Is that what?
That's how it came. The week after she passed on her favorite day, Easter. Her favorite day was Easter.
Really?
And when she passed away.
Lived in New York.
Oh, sure.
Easter parade. She must have gone to see Easter parade.
Sure. Absolutely, yeah. There was only one Garbo. But we living here in Southern California, we shopped. We went to the grocery store when she was here, staying with Gaylord. We would go into Gelson's Market. Not one person recognized her. Now she'd say, Kenny, I'm losing my popularity. I said, no, you're so clever. Marilyn and Miss G were two women who knew the most important commodity of show business, public relations.
Madonna, there's an example.
Exactly.
Madonna's the same thing.
They knew the public relations contact were important. So when Garbo wanted to be recognized, she never had a press agent. When she wanted to be recognized, she simply put her floppy hat on and her dark glasses, and she was recognized.
That's what she did in New York, though.
Yeah, sure.
She did that in New York a lot. Did you ever see her walking on Fifth Avenue in New York or Park Avenue or anywhere?
No,
I used to see her all the time when I lived in New York.
Sure.
All the time.
Right.
People recognize her in New York. Manhattan's different than California.
Of course.
She loved to walk.
Right.
Same as Katharine Hepburn. Loved the bicycles. Tell me about Katharine Hepburn. Have you ever met her?
Yeah, I met her one night after she did As You Like It in San Francisco, but I don't know the woman.
What's Gaylord Hauser? What was he like?
He believed in his own products. That's the most important thing. He believed in health. What he practiced, he
inside
preached.
is beautiful.
Absolutely, fantastically beautiful inside. I'm going to tell you for the first time, never told before, how they met. You want to hear how they met?
Yes, I'd love to hear it.
He had come down to Southern California and leased a house on Angelo Drive.
Right.
With his butler and Frey Brown, his great friend. They leased the house, and let's hypothetically say every Wednesday.
Right.
Every Wednesday they had luncheon for 12 women. The most famous women in the world would come to luncheon at Gaylord Hauser's. But one day the butler came in and he said, Greta Garbo is on the telephone. Hauser didn't believe it. He said, what does she want? He says, she wants to come to luncheon Wednesday. Tell her to be here 12 noon punctually. We eat at 12 noon. That's what he told. So he said, save a little place just in case. And we'll get somebody to fill in if Garbo doesn't show. But he didn't expect Garbo to show. At 5 minutes to 12, the doorbell rang. He opened the door, as was his custom, to greet all his guests. There she stood with a flower in her hand. She came in, she sat down. Skippy, Greta Garbo stayed on Angelo Drive for 6 weeks. Never left.
I love it.
The girl
Never
who came
left.
to dinner.
That's right.
There's a lot of people in Hollywood are great house guests. Believe me, I know a lot.
Never left. Garbo never left.
Traveling all over the world, Kenny. Just got back from where?
London.
Tell me about your experiences in London. What happened?
What do you want to know?
Well, you were.
Come on. What do you want to know?
You were there
You're
for
a
the
tricky
Princess
one.
Di, or
Well,
tell me about.
Now let's go back. You and I have been friends for umpteen years. You've watched my nightclub appearances as long as 8 years ago. You remember I was predicting that Princess Di would never be queen.
You did say
That's
that.
right.
That's right. That's
I
right.
further have newspaper proof that last June 1991, June of 1991,
Right.
In the Star publication, the London Star, not
Right,
here.
right.
The London Star carried my picture on the front page and a write-up in the middle, and it said Princess Di will cause, during 1992, she will perform an indiscretion that she will regret a lifetime. She will also have a problem with her digestive tract. The bulimia, the indiscretion, of course, was giving the proof of the story to Morton. She regretted a lifetime. But it's well planned. It's an orchestrated plan. He never wanted to be king. And when day is done, His Royal Highness is going to be a culprit.
How is Kenny Kingston accepted in London? I mean, you're well accepted here. I mean, English must do crazy there because the kinkiest people in the world.
I know. Well, but the wonderful thing about this is just before I left to go to London, just before I left, Jonathan Ross was here. And you know Jonathan Ross is the Johnny Carson of England.
Right.
Johnny Carson. I did his show at Dr. Irene Corsolo. You know Dr. Irene Corsolo. Of course. She has the big mansion in Bel Air. I did, we taped a show for London. So they released the show in London, big extravaganza, just a week before I arrived. So it was fun for me.
So what was your experiences in London doing
People came
clubs
up
and stuff?
Oh, no, I did one appearance which was sold out at the Garden there. One appearance at the Garden.
One appearance only?
One appearance only.
Must have been
Covenant Garden?
No, the Garden Club.
No, Covent Garden is that's
Covent
in
Garden is there.
Sweden.
No, Covent Garden is this area
Copenhagen.
in London.
Yeah, right. No, there's another one, though.
That's right. And what I did there was invited to do an awful lot of television while I was there. So I did a few shows because I was committed to come back here. You know, I'm very dedicated always on the second and fourth Friday in the San Fernando Valley. I have my meetings.
Right.
I have my where I have 7 psychics. Everybody gets messages, so everybody watching your show knows that I'm in the San Fernando Valley the second and fourth Friday. I'm listed in the Sherman Oaks telephone directory. All they have to do, Kenny Kingston, call that number. Everything is there for them.
What do they do when they come
There?
to see? Yes, what do they do, Kenny? Come on. They pay just a few, nothing, very nothing.
$13 a person.
That's nothing.
13, that's right.
What do they sit in the audience?
When
you touch objects for them?
Yes. What happens, I have 6, 7 psychics with me.
Right.
When they arrive, we have a brief service, just a brief spiritual service. After that, they have drawn, when they came in, they've drawn the name of a medium or psychic they've drawn. They go into circles with that medium. Everybody gets messages. It's a wonderful night. And in addition, there's divine healing. Miracle. I have 2 healing sisters that have been with me for 19 years.
So Kenny Kingston is real spiritual, isn't it?
I think so.
I mean, not just spiritual, but you're spiritual, though, along with... Tell me about criminals. Have you ever collected a criminal?
No.
From
criminals.
The cops ever called you to say?
Oh yes.
To help me with this.
I don't. That's not my cup of tea.
That's not your cup of tea.
No, I don't do that.
Oh, what is basically multi actors? How about
No. People come to me from all walks of life. People they're engaged. They want to know if that's the right husband, that's the right wife.
Do you ever feel guilty if it isn't the right information? Do you really feel it's the right sometimes, Kenny?
I only tell what Spirit tells me. See, I'm a trance medium. I'm a trance medium.
Trance?
I go into trance and listen to the spirits on the other side.
Okay.
The first time I ever saw Kenny Kingston, I was one of those people that were, I was kind of like, I wasn't sure whether this was real or fake.
Right.
So I went to this big party in Hancock Park, and Kenny Kingston was the featured guest.
Right.
And he looked around the room. I was in the midst of it was like a ladies' garden party. There must have been like 30 women all wearing hats, I'm sure.
No. There was at least 300. It was at Patty Barham's house.
Okay, maybe 300. I can't count. What
Go
do you
ahead.
want?
Well, I can't. I collect the receipts.
Okay, so we're at this big party. He's never seen me. I'm sitting on this little piano bench, very crowded, and all of a sudden he goes, "You had a grandmother." I said, "That's right. She passed away a while ago." I said, "That's correct." He asked for a piece of my jewelry. I gave him my ring. He went on to some other people and told them stuff. I go, "Well, everyone had a grandmother." He just guessed whether she passed away or whether she's alive now. He comes back. All of a sudden, he goes from the other side of the room and he points towards me. And he says, "Your grandmother's initial, it starts with a B." Well, yes, it starts with a B, but it was kind of not a common name, so I thought he'd never get it. And he said, "Her name was Bertha." And off I went from my piano bench. I just fell backwards. I couldn't believe it. And right then and there, I realized there was something to this, something much stronger than a normal person can have. This is a real power.
Kenny.
What?
That's kind of a dangerous thing, I mean, that spirit of yours talking in your, and sometimes giving it, I don't know, I'm kind of afraid.
Don't be afraid.
I mean, you take my ring.
Yes.
I'm kind of afraid.
That I
you
won't give it back to you, this expensive
no,
ring.
it's something about, I might be something you're going to say
No,
or something.
no, let me
Do you
tell
ever
you.
see anything of
Gloom?
death? No, something, a death of someone?
You're wonderful. You
No,
are.
I want to know the
Okay,
truth.
Okay, all right.
And you,
All right, okay.
Or illness bad?
This
Go
month,
ahead.
this month, 15 years ago this month, we're taping in August. So 15 years ago this month.
Right.
I held a seance for Marilyn for her 15th anniversary of passing away.
Right.
Naturally, this past August is her 30th. August the 4th. During the seance, Marilyn Monroe said to me, she said, Kenny, the next star to go into paradise is going to be Elvis Presley. He'll be here within 2 weeks. Now, I have to prove this, right? I must have proof of what I say. At midnight, I picked up the telephone and I called perhaps the world's most famous columnist, our friend James Bacon.
The greatest.
The greatest columnist. Right. Called Jim Bacon at home. He said, yes, Kenny. I said, Marilyn just came to me. He said, okay. What did she say? I said, I'm sorry to tell you this. I know you're not going to print it because Bacon was always good about printing, so he gave me so much publicity. Right. I said, I know you're not going to print it. I said, but Elvis is passing in 2 weeks. 12 days later, he passed.
Right.
Now that I don't want to do that, and I don't do that. That's
You don't
God's
do it.
job.
You don't want to do it.
No, I don't. I never want to do that.
How about some illnesses? Do you see,
I will
say
tell-
illness, like a woman who's very ill? Do you see out there?
Yes, sir. I just came. Two things. Let me tell you. Two things of importance. I think you'll love this. I just came from Carol O'Connor's in Beverly Hills for having luncheon.
Right.
I had luncheon with an English chap and Valerie Porter. You know Valerie, my wonderful writer and friend. I was starting luncheon, and I got the most horrible pains in my stomach. The most horrible pains in the groin area and in the back. I thought, I can't finish this luncheon. I am sick. So I looked at Valerie and I said, do you have any pains? And she said, no. And I looked at my newfound friend, who I didn't know, whom I introduced you to a few minutes ago, and I said, are you having any pains? He said, well, why do you ask? I said, I'm having dreadful pains. He said, I've had them for a long period of time, in my stomach, in my groin, and in my back. As soon as he told me that, everything left. It belonged to somebody else.
I see.
Now, one more thing I'll tell you. In Sherman Oaks, where I give my private readings at home,
right,
a woman came to me, and so help me God, I am so happy and so proud to tell you this. A year ago, she came to me, a year and a half ago. I do not remember what I tell people, right? I'm in trance. But when I came out of trance, she said, Dr. Kingston, are you sure what you told me I should do? I said, tell me what I told you. She said, you told me I should contact my doctor immediately.
Right.
There's a blood problem.
Right.
I told you that I had a blood test 3 weeks ago. There was no problem. You further said, when you see your doctor, get an ear, nose, and throat specialist because your right ear is very, very infected. I have no problem with my right ear. Now, that night she went home and called him, and he happened to be on duty. She said, I want to be checked tomorrow. He said, you've been checked already. There's nothing. She said, it's my money. My psychics, oh, bull, those psychic. All right, come to UCLA. Now, I'm telling you gospel truth, of which I'm so pleased, Skippy Lowe. The next day she went to UCLA. She called me from the hospital that night. She said, Kenny, I'm being fed, and I'm being given a blood transfusion. Mm-hmm. My doctor said if I didn't come in today, 3 days, I'd have been gone. I said, what about your ear? She said, I'm having that done tomorrow morning. He said, don't. I said, yes. Skippy, she was so full of cancer in her right ear that they had to do immense surgery as soon as she got the blood condition taken care of. Today, she's out walking.
Isn't that wonderful?
The doctor said she never. Now, do I take credit? No. It's the spirit that told me to tell her.
I like that thing you have on your phone. When you call Kenny Kingston, sweet spirit, what is that?
Hello, sweet spirit.
Hello, sweet spirit. I love that,
Do you?
Kenny.
Well, everybody's sweet spirit.
Sweet spirit. I got to ask you a question.
Sure.
It's really bugging me right now.
Yes.
I hope so. Bush, come on, get with it. Clinton, Bush, please.
I don't
dear
know.
God.
I don't know.
You said that quickly. You
I don't know. Because
So
I've
that
been
means,
asked worldwide.
What does that mean, Kenny Kingston? That could be a race, a real tight race.
I said that there would, remember I said at the at one of my performances that you attended, I said that there would be about maybe 3 years ago, I said that there would be a dark horse enter the race. That was Perot, of course.
Right.
The dark horse
right.
was Perot.
You did. Yes, I remember.
Remember that?
Absolutely.
I also said to you that that an indiscretion has been performed by President Bush, that when the world knows about this indiscretion, it's going to make Watergate look like little Lord Fauntleroy. There is a day in the life of Vice President Bush, Vice President Bush, that cannot be counted for. He made a negotiation for arms.
I love Mrs. Bush saying about family values. Why doesn't she talk about family values about her 2 children that she grew up to, 2 boys? They're crooks, both of them.
Oh.
They're both white-collar crooks.
Mm-hmm.
Those are family values.
Sure they are.
Huh? Let's get with it.
That's right.
I mean, the Bushes love to... Why do the Bush love to tear down people? I think this is going to be a mean, vicious campaign.
We have only just
It hasn't started yet, and it has not started.
We have only just begun.
Just begun. And is that right? Is that what you're feeling?
Exactly.
And Bush is not a very good campaigner. He really is mean.
He's a bad sport. Very bad sport.
Yes, see.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know if the American people are going to buy this. If they buy it,
But he got in on the coattails of Ronnie Reagan. You know that. That's how he got in on the coattails.
Okay. Kenny Kingston.
Yes.
You had a good life. Traveled all around the world as a great psychic and spiritual. Who are some of the people that really it was easy for you to see? I mean, there's some, or hard for you to see. Let's say hard.
What do you mean hard?
Well, like you've done a lot of royalties, Duke and Duchess of Windsor.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be a little hard one to see because you know about them so well.
But it was a charm thing. I was living.
You know their lives.
I was living in Venice, Italy, and Elsa Maxwell, was a friend of mine. I met her there. He introduced me to their Royal Highnesses, and he tolerated me. Put it that way. His name was David. You know the real name. So he tolerated Kenny Kingston.
I like that word, tolerated.
He tolerated.
I wish someone would tolerate me sometimes.
I do, Skipper.
See that? You see that? I would tolerate her any day too.
I like that word, tolerate.
The Duchess adored the psychic world. The Duchess adored the psychic world.
She did.
Oh yeah.
Were they great people, grand people? Much
they were
love and
adorably in love, but they were very shrewd business people.
Shrewd business people?
They never attended a...
Kenny Kingston, you're sitting there telling me the Duchess and Duke of Windsor are shrewd business people?
Yes, lovely people, but money conscious.
Okay.
I think this is fun because the Duke and Duchess of Windsor never attended a party without Elsa Maxwell collecting $25,000 for them.
Wow.
Sounds like Zsa Zsa Gabor should do that.
Unless they wanted to go. You know, understand?
Tell me about Zsa Zsa. Tell me about Zsa Zsa.
I don't know her that well, but I do, as far as I'm concerned. Now, I've done 2 Merv Griffins with Zsa Zsa, and I've met her on a few occasions, and I've met her daughter, etc. You know those things. I know Zsa Zsa reasonably well, I think, but not that well. But of all the Gabors, I love Zsa Zsa, and you know why? She's good to her mother.
What is Kenny Kingston's greatest accomplishment in life?
Waking up tomorrow morning. Being
Waking
happy.
Up tomorrow morning.
Being happy.
Being happy.
Being happy. Being healthy. Being content with myself.
That's a very difficult
Peace and
thing. Not everybody can just be happy.
Why?
Every day.
Why? You have a choice. You can let people upset you,
but
or
look
you can
around
be happy.
you out there. You try. There's a lot of difficulty, Kenny, out there. When you get up in the morning, open
But
that
you're
door.
ahead.
Pardon me?
When your eyes open, you're ahead.
It's a brand new day. I understand.
You're
Never
better
been
off than
touched.
some people who don't open their eyes. So you're ahead right there.
So you have a good time in life. Kenny Kingston has a good time in life, would you say?
Oh, sure.
Would you?
Sure. I don't attend as many parties as Skippy Lowe does now anymore.
No, forget about me, Kenny.
Oh, yes.
I'm
come
talking
on.
about you.
Yeah. You're a legend.
So
you know that. You are a legend.
A legend in your mind, but not in my mind.
Well,
Okay.
that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. But you are.
Do you know Annie Gavis used to be a singer, still a singer, dancer?
I think I'm going to use her for my opening act in the nightclubs.
She'd be great.
She'd be
yes.
fabulous.
Tell me, are you appearing somewhere in LA now? You're going to be appearing?
No, well, just my second and fourth Friday. I'm doing a lot of television. I'm going to go back and do Oprah Winfrey, a lot of shows, but in September, October.
Right.
Because I've got to have the book finished. It's called I Still Talk To.
I Still Talk To.
Yeah. Right.
I like the
Perfect
title. Yeah.
We're going to talk to Dietrich. We've already talked to Garbo.
Right.
We've already talked to Marilyn, of course. We've already talked to Betty Davis.
Betty Davis. That's good.
I didn't know her that.
You didn't know her?
I didn't know her that
Okay,
well.
Dietrich.
I met Maria Riva
Maria Riva. I
Her daughter,
love it.
Maria Riva. I met Maria when she was doing the front page in Italy during the war. Became not friendly, but knew her fairly well. Her mother I met in Switzerland. And I asked her to dance in Switzerland. What nerve. She was a Jean Gabon at the Palace Hotel in Zurich. I asked her to dance after she asked me to join her table because she wanted to find out about herself, some messages.
Yes,
you know.
yes.
And we danced. And a new song was out, Symphony of Love, da 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 da. So she whispered it in my ear as we danced, and I'm a bad dancer, Skippy. And the music was over. I said, let me ask the orchestra leader to play it again. Will you sing it again for me? She says, no. I save a little of myself for tomorrow. She called me right after People magazine broke the story. She called me. We talked about once a week, if not more, from Paris. I had her out walking, you know. That's
did?
Yes. She said she couldn't walk. I gave a story to the press, which she wanted me to give. I said, Dietrich is out of the apartment. She said, everybody said, you're telling a prefabrication of the truth. I said, am I? Yes. Finally, 2 weeks later, Globe carried the story.
I remember you calling me on that and telling me about it. Tell me about health and happiness. Psychic, Kenny Kingston, Guide to Health and Happiness. This is your book. It's out. Boy, it's doing well.
Very well.
Tell me about this health and happiness. This is about your health.
Right.
Tell me, what do you mean by health? And I know what health means. I know what happiness means. But
I think if people if people came to a good psychic. Now, when you go to a psychic must tell you a little bit about your past, because any charlatan can tell you about the present and the future. I tell a little bit of soupçon of the past.
That's it.
Yeah.
Is that what's his name did? He took objects. The one who fell off the ladder.
I don't know.
You know who I'm talking about?
No, I don't.
You don't? Okay.
I don't want to know.
Oh.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
Yes, I do. All right. Anyway, when they come, I think what happens, most important, when they come to me, I tell them for an hour everything the Spirit tells me. Then, when I go into trance, they can ask a question. It changes your life, Skippy. It changes your life. There's so many things that if you're happy, your whole body is in tune.
So they should be happy at all times.
Well, why not?
A friend of mine
Get
drove
off
me
of
here
your
today.
system.
A friend of mine drove me here today
Yes.
and said he's happy. He smiles. He's happy. I said, you have no difficult sleeping. I have difficult sleeping.
I do
He
too.
does not have difficult sleeping. I can't believe it. I just don't understand.
I don't have problems sleeping either.
Prediction for the